Hello everyone, my name is Satyam Raha. Welcome to my channel. And in this video, I'm going to solve another pattern problem, which is, like I said in the last video, upside down star problem, which looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by 1, 2, 3, followed by 1. This pattern. Okay, so we have solved the same pattern upside down, but we have to solve this now. So here also you see line number 1, line number 2, line number 3. You already know this, right? But here also we have some spaces. So at line number 1 we have 0 spaces. At line number 2 we have 1 space. At line number 3 we have 2 spaces. How can you correlate it? Okay, you can correlate it maybe in this way. See, line number 1 has 0 spaces, right? So maybe 1 minus 1. Okay, at line number 2 we have 1 space, that is maybe 2 minus 1, and in line number 3 we have 2 spaces, so let's write it here: 0 space, 1 space, 2 space, right? So maybe you can get it by simply subtracting 1 from the current line. The current line is 2, so 2 minus 1. There the current line is 3, so 3 minus 1. That is how you can get it. This is one way of doing it, right? Okay, another way, if you think, is maybe start with 0. Maybe you start the number of spaces with 0, and then you can increment it after each line. 1, 2. This is another way of solving it, of handling the number of spaces, right? And now the main problem here is with the number of stars. The number of spaces is very easy. Till now the problems we have solved, we have seen how to print the number of, how to take care of the number of spaces. But here you see the number of stars is a problem, because in line number 1 we have 7 stars. Now how can you solve it, right? How do you know that we have to print 7 stars at line number 1? It is not constant, right? And how can you relate it? It is 1, it is 7, it is 3, it is 1. So there is it doesn't seem like we have some correlation, right? But we have to come up with some idea. Let's for understanding, let's write the pattern for 4 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and maybe like this: 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe, and then maybe 1, 2. No, I think I made a problem. It should be 5 here, it should be 3 here, it should be 1 here. Always remember, it should end with 1 star. Okay, otherwise it will be incorrect. So now you see, this is line number 1, this is line number 2, line number 3, line number 4, and we have like 9 stars, we have 7 stars, we have 3 stars, we have 1 star. So again, do you think there is a correlation with 1? Obviously, if I can somehow figure out the starting number of stars, I can simply decrement it by 2. That is not an issue, right? But the main problem is how to figure out how many stars to begin with. That is the main issue here. So just think of it a bit before I help you. Think on this. Think using this, because this is the only thing which we have along with the number of lines. The number of line is 4, and we have the line numbers. We have the I loop. This is basically the I loop, right? And this is line. So we have these two, and we have to find these somehow with the help of these things. Okay, so can you come up with something like, okay, let me help you. See, the number of lines given by the user is 4, right? So how can you get 9 here? Here we have number of lines as 3, and we have like 5 stars, isn't it? So what is happening? Sorry, this is not 7, this is not 9, this is 7, this is 5, this is 3, this is 1. Okay, I'm sorry, this is a mistake. So now can you find out what is the pattern? Here the number of line is 3 and we have 5 stars to begin with. Here we have, so let me write it somewhere else. So when the number of lines is 3, we have to start with 5 stars. When we have line number 4, we have to start with 7 stars. When we have line number as 5 or number of lines as 5, we have to start with 9 stars. Yes, because this is increasing with 2, right? But can you relate? Can you relate 3 with 5? Can you relate 4 with 7 independently? Can you relate 5 with 9? Maybe we can, right? What is that? 3 into 2 minus 1 equal to 5. 4 into 2 minus 1 is 7. 5 into 2 minus 1 is 9. It's beautiful, right? When you find a logic. But now you may ask, how did I come up with this? This is by practice. This is by your logic. Okay. And this is your left brain and you have to train it. This is how you train your left brain for logical building. Okay. Just watch for the pattern, what is going on. This is something like logical reasoning if you have done that earlier. Just use your brain. You need to not learn anything, just use your brain. Okay, that will be enough. You can just check it. 3 from 3, how can you get 5? From 4, how can you get 7? From 5, how can you get 9? Right? This thinking, if you can do it, you will get this pattern very easily. Okay, now obviously this is line into 2 minus 1. That's it. Now let's write the code. So I will simply write a for loop, say int j equals to maybe 1. Okay, maybe it's difficult for you. Let me show the, yes, let me show you this and let me delete this thing. Let me clear up this. Okay, I hope this is fine. Okay, now j should run for how many times? Basically we are doing this for what? For the number of spaces, right? For the number of spaces. So space, I told you we can do it, we can handle it in 2 ways. One is using the first one, this particular logic, using this also you can do it. So what I will prefer is maybe the second way, this way maybe. So let's say I want it for I minus 1. Okay, and maybe this will be equal to, and let's say j plus plus, and after that I'll print nothing but the spaces, right? Simple spaces. Obviously print, you know why print. If you do not know, go to my earlier videos, that will make it very clear. So I'll write the j loop, a k loop maybe for printing the stars. So k equal to 1. So how many stars should I print? I should print k less than equals to how many? N into 2 minus 1. Now if I write this, will it be correct? Because every time it will be n into 2 minus 1. That is, if I say the line number is, say the number of lines is 4, so this k loop will always run for 7 times. So in all the lines it will print 7 stars. I do not want that. So it will make it hard coded, because n into 2 minus 1, if I write it here, it's dependent on n, and I'm not going to change n or modify n or decrement n anywhere, right? So this will not work. So it's better to write star here and initialize it with n into 2 minus 1. Now what is n? N is nothing but line. So line into 2 minus 1. Okay, now I can use this star here and maybe k plus plus. Okay, now you have to simply print a star here and remove ln. Okay, now what we need to do, we need to decrement the number of stars by 2, because from both sides one star is missing, so we have to print. So after each line we have to decrement the number of stars by 2. What else? Okay, number of spaces need not be decremented because it will be taken care of by the I variable, right? So it is directly correlated. If we would have used the earlier one, this one, maybe 0 1 2, then we would have needed to increment the spaces. But here, since it is dependent directly on I using the second logic, this one, so that's why we need not take care of it. We just need to print a new line here. That's it. Done. If I execute this code, let's see what happens. Let's give 20. Wow. Fantastic. So it works fine. Let's make it big one. Let's say 50. Wow. This is awesome, right? So obviously, this is how you can solve the problem like this. I hope you got some help. Thank you. See you in the next video.